Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yasmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale, and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hello, I'm Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Thraben in the province of Gavany.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his ursine companion, Bojo.
Previously, Esther had meaningfully extinguished the lingering evil as the phylactery above the throne was thoroughly destroyed, dousing the room of its rancid red light forever. The Archangel Avacyn had sealed our paladin's soul in a most perfect, soft golden feather, and after carefully collecting it up in his aged and wrinkled palms, Otto tucked it into his seed pouch for safekeeping, accepting it in his capacity of spiritual servitude. Meanwhile, the sorceress and ranger sifted through the silt and shredded silks left behind by the loathsome, now deader than undead lich, and they were afforded a precious prize in the form of a magical headband. Elora's angst about the ship's secretive past and its overarchingly sinister occupants resonated with her 4 remaining companions, and a full scrutiny of the vessel commenced forthwith. Discovering a concealed push panel in a wall behind the throne, the party proceeded into a sizable storage space where, as if their day of agony and anguish were not enough, it was about to take a further astonishing and unimaginable twist. Episode 143, A Bountiful Boatful.
Okay, so what's going to happen is there's 2 things going to happen at the same time. Rick and Elora are going to start rummaging around the desk looking for clues, information, anything you can find. Ogvar, you're going to start rummaging through the items and taking a look what you can find. Okay. So that's going to happen simultaneously. What I'm going to do is to kind of keep this rolling and keep it moving. I'm going to go for the items first. I'll run you through, because I'll assume that after you've started rummaging around the desk, after you've found and had discussion, you're going to go back and look at the items anyway, vice versa. You're going to share that information, you're going to look around, you're going to look at the books, right? So, I'm just going to run through what you find first, so that we can get that over with, have a little bit of a break, and then go and carry on with the story. Okay, so I've got a big spreadsheet. It's very big spreadsheet.
Oh, hell.
So I will send this to you. Don't feel the need to write any of this down. I'll send you the spreadsheet because it'll be a lot simpler. Because I stayed up until 3 a.m. in the morning writing this.
That is the best time for
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's good. What we're going to do is we're going to start at the top. Okay, so you find a pair of clawed gauntlets, armoured gloves which end in long sharpened spikes designed to aid in climbing. When used in conjunction with a climb check, the gauntlets will grant you a +1 equipment bonus. They are also sharpened, so making them effective slashing weapons for 1d6 plus strength times by 3. So that's the first thing you find.
Right, okay.
That times by 3 is the critical, not what you get as standard.
Oh.
I will just say.
Dear. Oh, the disappointment.
What?
Okay.
I need another sweet. I need to chew furiously.
You find a set of leather armour made from what you can recognise as the skin of a hellhound. will grant you resistance to fire attacks but leaves you vulnerable to cold-based ones. You get fire resistance 10 but a -2 penalty to saves against cold attacks. Cool. You find 2 pots of camouflage makeup. A simple layer of paint or properly administered dye can change clothing, armour, or even your skin into a disguise suitable for wild terrain. Applying it requires 10 minutes of work and a disguise check. If you're successful, it will give you a +1 circumstance bonus to hide checks for 1d4 hours. You find a small case of 6 rounds of flash powder, an alchemical item that will produce a bright, smoky but otherwise harmless explosion when detonated. Think very much Assassin's Creed, kind of ninja kind of poof, and you can make a hide check.
Nice. Colbean would love that.
Yeah.
Boom, geezer.
Send
Okay.
Colbean a gift.
Okay. You find another small box with several already missing. 3 rounds of shock freeze, an alchemical concoction that causes a tremendous drop in temperature when exposed to air, which when used on an opponent will deal 1d10 points of damage, and it will also leave metal brittle for a certain period of time.
Ooh, that's useful.
Okay. You also find a dagger. This dagger is quite ornate. The curious thing is, though, as you walk past it where it's hung on the wall, it rises up and unnervingly points towards your heart. This is a heart skewer dagger. It pulses with magical power, almost as if a heart beats within its blade. The weapon itself is attracted to your critical organs with an unnerving, restless energy. When used in battle, it will help direct blows to critical points, which will grant its wielder the ability to sneak attack for plus 2d6 points of damage.
That's an naughty thing, yeah.
Ogvar, as you walk past the table, you find a small, simple-looking gold ring. You pick it up and slide it onto your finger, twist it round once, and the ring turns into a bow. This is a ring weapon bow. It can transform into a plain golden ring, and when it is in its ring form, it does not emit a magical aura, making it proof against detection spells such as detect magic. Shifting the weapon from ring to weapon form or back again requires a move equivalent action, which means you can shift it from ring to weapon in 1 round and attack at the same time. Excellent.
That's very nice. That's quite tasty, that.
It is.
Otto, the thing that draws your eye is a simple staff, perhaps seeming slightly out of place. As you take further investigation, you realise that this is a staff of springing, a enchanted quarterstaff made from resilient, highly flexible wood. When planted firmly into the ground, the staff collapses down to 1/3 of its length before popping back to full length and vaulting its user into the air. When used in conjunction with a jump skill check, the staff allows its wielder to ignore the maximum jumping distance based on his height, and when used in combat, the staff of springing strikes as a +1 weapon.
Nice weapon. That could be a lot of fun.
Tidy.
Yeah.
So, next up is a selection of potions. In this room there is a large cabinet packed to the gunnels with potion bottles. Some of them are cracked, some of them are empty, some of them are broken, some of them are just no good. Of the good ones that you find 2 potions of liquid form, which I believe you have used previously. Was that potion of gaseous
Liquid
form?
form.
No,
Gaseous form.
Gaseous form. Okay, so potion
Gaseous
of liquid form, basically the same thing. It transforms its user into a pillar of thick silvery liquid that can flow through cracks beneath doors or down small pipes or holes. The drinker may move at his normal walking rate. While he can breathe normally in this form, he does not gain the ability to breathe underwater. The user may return to his normal form and switch back to his liquid one as often as necessary during the potion's 1 hour duration.
Oh no, you couldn't do that with gaseous form.
Ooh. Okay. The more
Oh, that's nice.
That's useful.
The more mundane items. You find a potion of jump at caster level 1, a potion of endure elements at caster level 1, potion of Shield of Faith +2 at caster level 1. A potion of Levitate at caster level 2. A potion of Resist Energy, its bright green colour would suggest acid, 10 at caster level 2. A potion of Dark Vision at caster level 2. 2 oils of Magic Weapon at caster level 1. A potion of Mage Armour at caster level 1. 2 potion bottles of Cat's Grace, caster level 2. Potion of Remove Disease, caster level 3, one of those. A potion of Remove Blindness or Deafness, caster level 3. Potion of Fox's Cunning, caster level 2. Potion of Heroism, caster level 2.
Oh, nice.
Potion of Resist Energy, again, it's bright blue colour, suggesting electricity this time, 30 at caster level 11. A potion of Good Hope, caster level 3. Potion of Greater Magic Fang +5 at caster level 20.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, hello.
I thought you'd say that. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. You see a jewellery stand of some kind. A upturned hand made out of what you hope to be a fake skeletal hand, but holds quite a possibility that it is in fact someone's hand. Displayed on this hand are 3 rings. One which you recognise as a ring of protection +1. One a ring of protection +3. And the final one, which is one of the best rolls I made on this, a ring of telekinesis.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like, ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Like Hobbit at a firework party.
Yes,
Oh
exactly.
my god.
So, the list continues. You find
Really?
something that you would
This is going
recognise,
to be a
Ogvar.
podcast episode of its own.
I know. You find Ogvar. Braces of Archery Lesser. Which
Oh,
I
we've got
believe...
some more of those.
Yep, you've already got a set of, or they're greater ones, I'm not sure which.
Can you create
Find.
4 arms?
You find a large
Jockstrap.
magnifying glass, which is recognised
didn't just
as
say-
a lens of detection. On a dummy,
Caddo wanted one of them.
on a dummy, you find a vest of escape.
That's
Hidden
very
within hidden pockets on this simple silk vest are lockpicks that provide a +4 competence bonus on open lock checks. The vest also grants its wearer a +6 competence bonus on escape artist checks. You find Quoll's Feather Token Anchor, Quoll's
Oh,
Feather
good, that's
Token
handy.
Swan Boat,
A what?
Swan Boat.
Yes.
Yeah. A token that forms a swan-like boat capable of moving on water at a speed of 60 foot. It can carry 8 horses in gear or 32 medium characters or any equivalent combination. The boat lasts for 1 day.
It's a bit more than a dinghy.
Well, that's another way back.
Stood in the middle of the room, quite prominently when you... Well, I say in the middle, it's more towards the one side of the room. Still in a bit of open space. You see a full-sized, roughly hewn statue of a horse, carved from stone. A little bit of investigation reveals that this is a stone horse, a coarser version. So a command word will bring the steed to life, enabling it to carry a burden and even to attack as if it were a real horse of the appropriate kind. A stone horse can carry 1,000 pounds tirelessly and never needs to rest or feed. Damage dealt to it can be repaired by first using a stone to flesh spell, thus causing the stone horse to become a normal horse that can be healed normally. When fully healed, it automatically reverts to its stone form. While in its stone form, it can be fed gems, healing 1 point of damage for every 50 gold pieces worth of mineral it's given. And the coarser version, which that's what this is, has the statistics of a heavy horse.
Very heavy.
Is
horse,
it a full size thing?
Oh yeah, this bastard's like the size of a Shire horse.
How the fuck did they get that in there?
Oh, we getting it out.
They walked it in, obviously.
Turn it into a horse, reduce it, walk it in, turn it back.
Oh, actually, if it's a creature, I can... Depends on its weight. Okay, yeah, carry on.
Okay.
I'll think about that one.
So you find a couple of other items. You find a book which reads on the title Gollum Manual, Clay.
Oh.
Anybody up for a fishing trip?
This is me getting excited away. Not Otto. Otto doesn't care, but me, yeah, absolutely.
Hung about the neck of a broken bust, you see a necklace of fireballs type 7.
Oh my god, I'm going to wet myself.
Bang.
There's going to be a puddle under this chair in a minute.
And rolling about underneath the bureau, swaying with the ship, you see a pearl of power rolling quite merrily across the floor.
Oh, that's a bit good.
And they're pissing themselves laughing.
Dare I ask what sort of pearl of power this is? Because there's been some very tasty stuff down here.
2 spells.
Yep.
They're pissing themselves laughing because we were having... This is a flashback to when I ran the Christmas one-shot and Colin tried to buy 10 pearls of power.
That's right. I remember.
Fucking hell. Forevermore, the pearl of power will be my Achilles heel.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
You also find... Ogvar, you find a couple of quivers full of arrows. Upon closer inspection, you have 9 alchemist arrows and 9 thundering arrows.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay. And you find last 2 items on the list, apart from one more. So make it last 3 items, but I'm not telling you the other one yet. The last 2 items on the list. Ogvar, you find hung on a wall on a thick, heavy iron hook, swinging quite merrily, 2 pairs of spiked bowlers. These weapons are, as you'd expect, they're metal balls, but these have got vicious spikes. Instead of just
balls of steel.
Instead of just
Ogvar's got balls of steel.
Instead of just a plain ball. It does 1d8 damage, critical by 3, and it does bludgeoning, piercing damage. As well as obviously you can make the trip attack with it. Okay?
There's one. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all written down, isn't it?
You have bludgeoning balls.
Beg your pardon?
Sorry.
And Laura, you find, rolled up quite neatly and tucked away on a high shelf, a magic bedroll.
I love.
You realise this is for Laura, not for Sam, right?
What does it do?
It's amazing. It's an amazing item. Oh my god, that's going nowhere.
And do you want to hear the grand total, with the exception of one item, because we haven't got to that yet? Do you want to hear the grand total of everything that I've just given you?
What, in gold value?
What value?
In gold value.
Appraisal value. Go on then.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
This is including the headband of intellect, I will say. So the sum total of what I've just given you is 280,319 gold pieces worth. I got a little bit excited.
I was going to suggest we'll take random guesses and whoever gets closest gets a prize, but you know what? I would have been nowhere near it.
Oh my god!
You're nowhere near the actual total after this is going to be over.
Oh my god! And got the ship. Oh fuck yeah!
Okay.
Oh my god!
So,
that's the second massive haul that we've had. The first one was when we got the bloodlines under the church.
Okay, so next bit we'll go on to is the desk. Okay, so
Hell yeah!
Otto and Alora, you go over to the desk. You start taking a rifle through. You see there are loads and loads of papers, writings, plans, diagrams, notes. You see these big, thick, leather-bound books. There's quite a few of them stacked up. So it's going to take you a little while to kind of read through, pass through the books and everything that is there. But what we can do is we can do a bit of a takeaway. So there are going to be, let me just double check. There's that one. Okay, so there's going to be 3 main takeaways you get from this desk: Chinese and Indian and fish and chips.
Not an Indian.
Okay. So, the first thing you take away is a bit more information about the backstory of this vessel and its owner. As you have almost predicted, Laura, this vessel is not from the plane of Innistrad.
Yeah, that somehow doesn't surprise her.
So, passing through the information available, you see several pages, several books of what look to be diary entries. And as you do a closer inspection, you realise that as you're pulling open drawers and looking in drawers, there are vast numbers of small leather-bound diary journals, far exceeding what you would expect someone to normally have. So you think maybe, someone uses a diary for a year. They make their entries and they use a diary in a year. There are over, you would say, 200 of these books, stacked, piled into drawers. The oldest ones are illegible. Water damage, mildew, mouldy, pages have fallen out, the ink has faded into nothingness, the cover has disintegrated. It's basically just a kind of a wet, lumpy pile of parchment at this point. The newer ones are more legible. But as you kind of flick through and take a look at some of the oldest ones, you realise that these indeed are all diaries. And this being has lived for an incredibly long time. You can take an estimate that 200 years maybe. This creature was about 200 years old, this lich. Quite possibly not a lich for that entire time. But certainly he's been kicking around for more than 200 years.
No, just when we get to the good bit.
Is this where we find out that Yaz has just paused herself purely in order to keep us on tenterhooks?
Cliffhanger.
Am I back? Hello? Hello?
It's proper gone, isn't she?
Oh, we've lost her completely.
It's how it started off, wasn't it?
You can't
Hello?
always tell, Hannah. Oh, there we go.
Hello, you're
I'm
back.
Sorry, what did you hear?
Diaries of the Lich over round about 200 years.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Looking at some of the more recent entries, you begin to kind of trace backwards to the point where this ship came into place on Innistrad. You can see from the entries, this creature, this being, this lich, was once a mage, a wizard, called Vahro.
Could you spell that, please?
Vahro.
Okay.
He desired power, and his search for power led him to become a lich in the first place. He was a menace on his own plane, but his desire and his drive to seek even more power led him to voyage into the Shadowfell, willingly. He eventually exited the Shadowfell and ended up in Innistrad. From here, yet more secrets are revealed. Evil draws evil, and the collusion between the cult of Skersdag and Vero was almost inevitable. From here you can see, amidst the sheaths of papers, the cult's symbol on some of them, plans which have been signed off, other documents which are damaged beyond repair, half burnt, are illegible. But you do find some useful information. From the letters and from the writings, Vero's own ramblings where he goes on about the internal political collusions of the cult and other such mad topics, you learn that the cult is split into 3 separate branches. And although there's not a lot of information on the other branches, you do have their names. The Tear, the Eye, and the Trident. The Tear, from these writings, is mainly based in Stensia. The land to the far west of Innistrad. The Eye, there is very little information on. Barely its name in passing. The Trident, however, there is more information. The Trident operates within Nephalia and lower parts of Gavany. And in itself, there are 3 main leaders. 2 are mentioned by name. Istroth.
Spell, please.
Istroth.
Okay.
And Stavros.
Show me the money.
What?
Right. Never mind, carry on.
Oh, it's Stavros Flatley.
What? Okay.
Don't worry about it, carry on.
And also further mentions to Vero being one of the prongs of the Trident. Okay. The other piece of information you discover is that the plane that Vero once inhabited was more technologically advanced than this one. There are drawings and mad writings of diagrams, scripts, circuits, things which are incomprehensible to you. But what you can see, there is one particular entry in this diary where he rambles on about how backwards and devolved this land is. How the people are simple, with not a thought in their heads, no innovation. And he exalts his own capabilities and his own strengths here. His ship, the Shattered Moon, is also far more advanced, able to transform into an airship through the use of a core.
That's where we need another one of those ooh moments.
Yeah.
Just sucking that information in.
So,
What were you saying about giving it to the church?
Wow.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop it, well I was going to pop it back in on the spreadsheet. I'm not going to do it because I've copied something else in the time being. You can add onto that sheet the Shattered Moon, a vehicle, basically classed as a man of war. We're bringing the grand total of your profit up to 380,319 gold.
Wow. But of course, the most valuable part of all that is actually the information, as far as Alora's concerned. Although it does make her plans going forward somewhat potentially easier. Wow.
Yeah, that's that might be one of the biggest treasure hoards I've ever run into. I think Otto's just not going to know what to do with it. Which
Perhaps we
give
should
away.
buy Innistrad. Should we buy Innistrad? Let's buy the church.
I think you might bankrupt Innistrad if you do that.
Well, if you really want to have an effect, then you go to where all the vampires are and you start selling items and watch how quickly they run out of money. Devalue the local gold.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Politics, eh? Great.
Okay. So you've shuffled down the desk, you've found this information. And also in the very back of the ship you find another hatch down, which when you look down and you explore further down, you can see a room in front of you running the length of the ship. It's very clearly the bottom of the ship. It comes to a point in the middle where obviously you've got the very bottom of the ship.
Yeah,
But it is a mass of complex machinery and workings, which, as you've descended down the hatch, you've emerged onto what is a platform. Couple of large desks strewed about, filled with drawings, with papers, blueprints, notes, notebooks, and in the very centre, a large, white, glowing orb, mounted almost like you would see a very old-fashioned, very fancy globe. It's like on a plinth, and it's clearly, it looks like it could spin. It doesn't spin, but it looks like it. And this is very much the focal point of this room. And you would say this is probably the core that was being referred to.
Okay.
Who's feeling brave then?
In regards to what? Who's brave enough to do what?
Well, I wouldn't want to risk you, Ogvar, and it's obvious you and Alora are pretty close, so I guess that with us now lacking Kewin, leaves me. And Otto will shuffle up to the light and try and touch it.
Okay, you place a hand on the orb. The orb thrums to life. You physically feel the hum beneath your hand. You can hear machinery starts moving very slowly, then picking up pace. You can see kind of bursts of steam, kind of puff sounds. It's just this whole mechanical clattering, gears turning, just things happening. And after a second of your hand being on this glowing orb, a holographic screen pops up in front of you, very quickly spreading out to almost kind of 4 screens around you, almost displaying, although it's written in a language that you can kind of decipher. It's almost similar to your native tongue, slightly different though. It's like trying to read one of Shakespeare's works but in ye olde English.
4 or 3. Was it 4 or 3 screens?
4 screens. So you can kind of decipher it, although some bits you're like, what is that supposed to be? But very broadly, it displays certain parts of the ship. So you can see a top-down view of the ship, you can see a side view of the ship, you can see sails where the sails are, along with kind of almost like slider buttons. And when you experimentally kind of touch one, you see the little image of the sail on the ship begin to rise and tuck away, and as you pull it back down, it comes back down. So you can clearly see that this is a control panel of some sort for this ship.
Anyone got any clues? Not really seen anything like this before. Watch. If I move this bit, the picture. It looks like the picture's got the sails coming out, but I don't know. I'm gonna look around and just start hitting random buttons and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly hear things moving here, things shifting on the ship. There aren't a great deal of things to press and buttons to move because it all seems to be quite simplified. You do see the screen on the far right very quickly turns blue, seemingly disappears, fizzles out, and then restarts. There are certain annoying little things where you've got your hand on one of these screens in front of you and you go to move to the left, and the bit which you're touching almost glitches up 3 inches up the page as you travel across between the gap. But it's a very intuitive system.
Okay. I think I'm getting a feel for it.
I mean, you press a couple more buttons and you hear this waka 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 sound in the background, and very quickly a small screen appears with some kind of little things moving across and a little button, and it's you very quickly kind of press something else and it disappears again. The waka 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 sound remains for a little bit before disappearing.
I think Alora would stand there and go, hey, Alexa. No, just joking.
Do 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 do.
Okay.
Okay. I'm kind of getting the picture of this. I'm kind of getting the basic idea of how this is going to work.
I take it most boats are like this then.
No.
As you stand there looking, a small little box appears in the middle of the one screen which says ship.exe has stopped working.
Error 404 not found.
All we need now is a little animated paperclip.
Clippy!
No clippy.
I noticed you're trying to raise the anchor.
If I throw a rock at this holographic screen, does it break?
No.
No.
Try unplugging it and plugging it back in again.
Oh no!
And turn it off and switch it back on again. Oh, God.
I've been doing too much of that over the last few days.
Laura is going to just put both her hands over the lower part of her face I think she's just about to implode. I mean, she can see kind of how this system is going to work, but doesn't understand how it works.
I mean, Otto's tapping away. You know, he presses a blank bit on this screen, presses a blank bit, and you get the dong, dong, ding, dong, 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 dong.
It's an old man with tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's single fingers jobs, and you know what's going to happen sooner or later. There's going to be a high-pitched screaming sound as some sort of alarm goes off, and you're just not going to know how to stop it.
Otto, I
Send error report.
I think we step back from this.
It is kind of fun, and we'll just sort of play with the sails a little bit.
Otto, no, just no. Let's. We need to hand this over to the church. They've got the resources. They've got the people. We've got all this paperwork. We need to get back to Genrix. Make sure everything else is cleared out here. Get back to Genrix, and we need to get a message to get people down here. This is the find. This is probably one of the biggest finds for Innistrad ever. You do realise that? I suspected that this may be how this thing got here, but this is incredible.
I think that donating this to the church is probably a good idea. I'm sure they'd much appreciate the gift.
I don't think it'd be a simple refit. I think it might be a blessing and a refit of the upper decks, but this is something that... This is amazing.
Yes.
This is technology from a place that... Well, this may change everything. I don't know whether that's for the good or for the worse, but if people are coming here with this technology, then we need to be able to keep up.
There's a thought. Well, there's one maybe others would follow.
This is incredible. Well, yeah, that's my thought, and we need to be able to defend ourselves.
Oh, that'll be fun, won't it?
Did Alora, thinking about it, did Alora see guns on this ship? Bearing in mind it's identified as a man of war from the external. Did she see this? I mean, it would normally be armed with, like, I don't know, depends on the number of guns. I mean, 50, 60, 70, it could have dozens and dozens of guns on this, but should have. Did she see any guns? As she's come down through the deck, she's not seen any guns. The decks have been open.
Hold that
So,
thought.
have the ports been sealed?
Do we know what a cannon looks like?
Yeah, you would.
Well, she would know what a
cannon
man
looks
of war was. Although,
Yeah, but a
if
cannon.
she's never seen one on Innistrad.
Yeah, you would. So this is very very basically, gunpowder does exist. Cannons do exist. The concept of throwing things using gunpowder also exists. It's perhaps not common.
Well,
it's perhaps not.
Colbean uses stuff, doesn't he?
It's perhaps not common to see cannons on a ship simply because, although pirates exist, they're mostly deep water and people don't go deep water. Very few merchant vessels do. So yes, Alora, you would have been on ships with cannons before. To answer your main question, no, you didn't see any cannons on this ship. Otto, what you see as you dong 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 on the screen, another screen pops up. This screen, you can see a side view of the ship. Along the side view of the ship, there are several runic-looking markings. As you... Ooh, what's that? Boop. Press one of the runic markings. It lights up. And from above you, you can hear the very familiar sound phew, of a magic missile going off.
That sounded interesting.
And as you watch, the rune on the side of the ship, which you've just tapped, begins to fade back to a normal colour. And these are not like a colour screen. This is like a kind of like a grey or a blue, almost kind of semi-transparent looking screen.
Okay.
Laura's going to march over to in front of this screen. Are these runes still showing on the screen?
Yeah,
that he's got up?
Yeah, the runes are still showing.
And she's looking at the view from the side of the ship, or is this
You're
just
looking at
a
the side of the ship. So it's a view of the ship side on.
As if you're standing
How can we
100
never-
feet away like that.
What's
How
that?
come we never noticed those runes? When we looked at the ship, how come we never noticed those?
Well, I don't think they were there, Laura. I'm only getting a feel for this, but I think the runes are just on these lights.
On the screen?
And yeah, well, I don't know what it is, but yes, something like that.
So
I wonder.
What we're saying is this doesn't have cannons, but it has other defense systems, magical defense systems.
Don't know. Let's try. And he'll just start tapping those runes to see what happens.
Yeah, okay, you
This is where the rest of Saltstone gets obliterated.
you tap a series of the runes, and yeah, I mean they light up quite randomly. Obviously, where you've tapped, but you've tapped randomly. They light up. You hear the sound of pew, 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 as
Stop!
clearly
Otto, stop!
as clearly a couple more of these, you say magic missiles fire off. You can then also feel, as you tap one rune, which is different because there are several different runes on this side of the ship. You tap one rune, which is clearly not a magic missile rune, and you hear this boom, earth-shattering boom, and you feel the ship sway in the water. Very much in the same way as what happened when the Lich, when Vero read the scroll that Eric threw at him.
Ooh.
Stop. We don't know what it's destroying outside. I did leave a creature in the bell tower. Please do not destroy the church.
Yeah, that's...
Let's stop pressing buttons. I think we get the idea.
On reflection, maybe you're right. And he just sort of put his hands up and slowly move back from the screen so without touching anything else.
Yeah. As you step out of range, out of radius, the screens collapse back down. Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh.
And disappear.
I wonder if there's a book on magical systems for dummies. Airships for dummies.
Don't know. But perhaps we should go and investigate the rest of the ships in case there's anything more like this.
I think that we need to just go back up the decks and check that there's nothing further there. And then we need to go and figure out what we're going to do with this and what the next plan of action is and whether those bloody creatures are still out there.
Well, last I saw them, they were swimming, and they weren't doing a great job.
But not all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
We can go check.
So you're going to head out of the bottom of the ship, out of this room with all the treasure. You'll walk back into this throne room, and Eric and Bojo. Yeah, Bojo's sat there looking quite nonplussed. Eric's looking a little bit concerned at the noises that are going on. What was that? That was it sounded like a magic missile and a exploding rune. I didn't cast anything. What was that?
Eric,
Nothing.
I think you and your master are going to want to come down here and have a look at this. But
Okay.
let's not worry about that right now, because this ship is not just a ship.
M&S
Yeah,
ship.
it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let's just go and check the rest of the ship, and then this will all come out in the fullness of time, I think.
Okay.
We should do that.
Okay.
Just trust us.
Okay. So you're going to go and check the rest of the ship. You walk back up through the galley. There's no sign of anything in the galley. You walk back through the centre of this kind of open area. You see, again, this pile of slowly dissolving cloth. You walk to where the hellhounds were. Nothing in there. You make your way up onto the top of the deck and you wander around. You can still see these birds in the water, flapping weakly. They're not making much process. It looks like a couple have sunk and perhaps died. You can't see anything untoward, and the town is still intact. You haven't blown up the town. It looks like these kind of magic missiles and explosions happened off the side of the ship rather than they weren't targeted.
That's good.
Laura breathes a sigh of relief. With everything that's gone on today, this feels like it's a wondrous thing. It's a breakthrough of a lifetime, of a century, of longer, forever. But it's also all weighing very heavy on her mind, and right now she has a fucking headache.
Okay. So what do you want to do? It is rapidly fading into evening. You can't see any lights on in the town. It's dark, it's abandoned. Otto, you're still glowing, although your glow will run out in the not too distant future. So yeah, what are you doing at this point?
Right, well, there's a couple of things that we can do here, the way I see it. I can open a dimension door and move everybody. Well, I can't move everybody. I can take 3 people with me, or 3 creatures with me, back to the bell tower. How many are we? My head is spinning. How many of us are there? How many do we need to move? Oh, I'm just looking round. She's looking round, looking a bit confused and like thinking, there's herself, there's Otto, there's Rowan, there's Bojo, there's Otto, Eric, Esther, Ogvar. So that's 8, I believe. She can take 3. However, I did notice that the stuff that's in the room downstairs, in that room, the magical items, wasn't there some kind of boat in there? Did I see a boat? There's so much stuff, I barely remember what's in there. There was some kind of boat?
There was, but I think perhaps in light of how things are, perhaps we should spend the night here. It seems to be safe now. We've not encountered anything else while searching the ship.
No, do you think those imp things have gone? She's really mithering over them, because she was on the nasty end of that, and she's not forgotten that.
They could still be here, but the truth is that either some of us are back or none of us do. That's how things are. You don't have the magic to get people back, and I certainly can't change my shape anymore, which leaves us
Does anybody want to go back?
In a difficult position.
Does anybody want to go back to the bell tower? Because I am going to have to go back there and go and fetch that puppy. I can't just leave that there. I have got some morals.
Ogvar's just going to stick up his hand and... I'm not saying I know how to do it, but why don't we sort of like turn to the other 2, because obviously Eric and Esther don't know the full story. Can't we just move the boat there, being as it works the way it does?
My concern is that we have no
think...
experience with this, and I would be worried that we could easily damage the vessel.
And Laura's nodding furiously.
Maybe we need to take our time before jumping into things. That said, if you are going to lead us that way, then I will of course follow.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how to do it myself, but
I would vote against. That's all that Laura would say. She's just shaking her head and saying, I don't think that's a good idea. I think this should stay anchored exactly where it is.
not a problem.
I can go back and get that puppy, and then I can come back. I think I've got enough. I've got enough strength to do that. And then we could just stay here for the night.
That does sound like a plan.
Allow us to rest, recuperate, recharge the batteries, if you will.
And if we were to make sure we stay in a more secure room, say perhaps even that treasure room, there's only one way in, one way out, although it might be a bit cramped. And that way, if those imps, whatever they were, do come back, there's only a limited space for them to come and find us with.
Alora's going to reach into a pocket and she is going to, slightly out of paranoia, but she is going to drink a vial of antitoxin.
Okay.
And now I can't remember how long it actually lasts. Anybody know how long the antitoxin lasts? Because I took it off my inventory. No, I have to look that one up.
Sorry, can't help you with that one. And I can look it up.
I've taken it off my inventory, so I don't know how long it lasts. I'd have to look that one up.
It's not that. There we go. 1 hour, I think. No, that's 5e.
It's probably the same, isn't it?
Yeah, 1 hour.
I
There
think
you
it's probably, 1 hour. She's going to take it anyway. Mainly out of paranoia, I think. Well, I think somebody should keep watch. We need to make sure that nothing's coming down from the top deck. The only way something's coming in here is if it's either teleporting in, or if it's coming in through the side of the ship itself, in which case you'll probably hear it, or it's coming in through the top.
Well, you two look like you need a good night's rest. I don't mind taking first watch, and that you get your heads down.
I can take second, dearie, don't worry.
I can take a shift. I'm not particularly hurt. I'm just a little bit magically drained.
Cool. Okay. So you're going to spend the night on the ship?
Yep.
Yep. Ogvar's taking first watch, Esther will take second. Eric will probably offer to take third, seeing as he didn't really have much of a role in the fight. What are you doing with the puppy? Are you going back to get the puppy?
Yes, Alora will. Alora will dimension door. She'll move a hand out in front of her. She's going to leave Rowan flitting around wherever he is. She's going to keep Orland with her. She will put her hand out, outstretch it, and she will cast dimension door. The edges of her peripheral vision will start to blur slightly and shimmer.
Yeah.
A silvery tear vertically in the fabric of her space will open up, and she'll slide through that. She'll just walk through that, go back to the bell tower. She's going to collect the puppy, scoop it up from wherever it is, and she is going to reverse the process and dimension door back to the ship, after which time she's going to be feeling pretty tired. And she's going to hand the puppy back to Eric. Here, Eric, I believe this is yours.
Ooh! No,
And she'll
hang on,
toss
that's
him
not
another
Eric. That's not Eric, that's Esther. Oh, yes, thank you, Mr. Laura. Oh, hello, Char. Oh, who's a good puppy? Yes, you are. You're a good puppy. Yes, you are. And Char barfs out a little bit of flame and then poof. Yeah.
Anybody want to toast their rations? Says Alora. She looks around.
Okay. So you're going to settle in for the night. You've got your rotation set up for your guarding. You're going into, you in the treasure room, did you say, or are you in the kind of throne room? Where are you camping?
Is there space in the treasure room for us?
Not particularly.
I was going to say, sounds a bit cosy in there.
I think Alora would prefer to take to be at the bottom of the ramp down from the quarter deck to the main deck.
Okay.
So, literally down to the first inside deck level.
Okay. Yeah, sure thing. Right. Okay, so yeah, you set up your little bit of a camp there. I'm going to say there are a couple of large braziers on the top deck for obviously lighting at night. You can roll one down the ramp. I'll let you do that if you want to set up a brazier. So you've got warmth, you've got light. I'll let you do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds ideal.
So you're going to set up
Otto
your
will need
brazier.
to stay down with Otto. Otto will need to stay down with Bojo. Obviously, if there's anyone staying on a different level, because he's not going to abandon Bear.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, you'll probably be kind of roughly where the throne is, where this hole is down to the... Well, hole is up to the next floor now. Yeah, so the majority of you, the exception of Bojo and Otto in that case, are going to kind of stay on the middle deck. Got a brazier there burning, so you've got warmth, you've got light. You're going to set up sleeping bags, bed rolls, that kind of thing, and settle in for the night. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a large storage room lit only by Otto's luminous armour, the team take in its contents. Elora and the age-old sage examine a carved cabinet, discovering diagrams, detailed drawings, diaries, logs and leather-bound ledgers. Upon inspection of various random documents, and by far the biggest bombshell was that of the ship itself. As their search stretched to the bottom of the boat, it appeared to be arcanely enabled to navigate not only the heavy oceans, but the heavens too. The impact for our companions was immediate, leaving them lingering in slack-jawed silence. Surely not. There must be some mistake. Such a thing did not exist. Did it? It was all too much for the companions to comprehend. Rest and recuperation were desperately needed as they decided to retire for a rather uncomfortable and likely restless night. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.